We just find ourselves using our thoughts over and over again all the time, but we don't think much about what effects it really has. We just think that whatever we learned to speak in our families originally, is just the way to talk to people. But then we know so many people, some people connect well with their spouses or with their children. There are others who yell at them all the time. There are others who criticize a lot. There are others who feel hurt and sad or deprived all the time. And so all those things, ways of thinking and seeing and interpreting things affects how we respond too, and what our thoughts are when we're not around other people. And so we now know that what we think in our minds is a very important part of our lives, because what I'm thinking about, affects the way I'm seeing everything I'm experiencing. And the way I'm thinking about things, several people can interpret somebody's behavior in 5 different ways. How does that happen? Because we all see through eyes of the past. We all see through eyes of the past as children. If we had parents who were critical a lot, we're more likely to either be critical ourselves or to see other people as being critical, even if they're not. And we'll interpret it that way. Because every thought comes out of our programming, and our interpretations come out of our programming. And we don't even stop and think most of the time, is it really valid or is it not? But we just see through eyes of the past and whatever was programmed in, whatever our parents did or didn't do, or how they talked or how they treated us, and so on. And we're not seeing that when I'm worrying about something, I'm not going to be good enough at this job, or I won't be liked by this woman or this man or something like that. Most people don't see that my thinking those kind of thoughts, I'm less likely to be attracted to that person. I'm less likely for them to be attracted to me, because I'm thinking other kind of thoughts, and every thought is literally an act of creation for us, because it affects what energy I send forth in terms of what I stimulate in somebody else, and it also influences how I interpret what they do and what I'll let myself see. And so if we're not allowing ourselves to be conscious of and aware of what we're thinking most of the time, then we experience ourselves as kind of just victims of the world, and victims of this person, or victims of this situation. And we feel like I'm not in charge of my life because all this stuff is happening to me. And what we don't see is that we need to see what our thoughts are and where they come from. And a lot of our thoughts, as I said before, come from what our conditioning was as a child. And so we can work on trying to change our thoughts, but sometimes that's very difficult to do if that was programmed in my 2nd year of life, 1st year of life, 5th year of life, 10th year of life, whatever it was, and that was programmed in, that comes automatically. So what we don't see is that sometimes we need to deactivate those negative, painful experiences from those early years. Or if we'd copied something from our parents that we know was not effective and was not helpful, but we found ourselves talking like them or reacting to others the way they did, and then thinking the thoughts that they inspired us to think. All that kind of stuff influences my thought system, and my thought system influences how I interpret and experience the world, and how I react to people around me, and how I interpret what they think or say or do. And so, in that sense, like that famous quote that so many people use from the Buddha 2,600 years ago, when he said, "With your thoughts, you create your world." And that was a really amazing, insightful statement 2,600 years ago. And so, but it hasn't spread our culture much to realize that, yes, if I can be more in charge of my thoughts, I'm more in charge of my life, and more in charge of my world, and more in charge of how I feel, and even affects my health, what I'm focusing on. If I'm worrying about getting this illness or that one, guess what? I'm more likely to attract it. If I'm scared I'm going to get it, I'm more likely to attract it. If I have ways of keeping my centeredness and my health, I'm less likely to get sick, and so on. So on and on it goes, that our thoughts do affect so much of what we see, what we interpret, how we feel, how we respond, and so on, and how we then create things in our lives. Certainly if you'd like to learn more about these methods or these tools or the combinations of them and how they work, I'll be glad to talk with you about it. You could contact me by phone or by email, or you could call me and we can make an appointment or two, and we could discuss it more in relation to your area, your issues, your problem areas, and what would be effective for you to do together. So I'd be happy to explore those things with you. I have people who want to come in person can see me in New York City or in Westport, Connecticut. Others may prefer to have session by Zoom or telephone or FaceTime or things like that. So that's possible too, especially during this coronavirus situation. So whatever works for you is I'm open to explore with you. But I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have about what this therapy is like.